Good morning, C.W. Henry School. This is Miss Davis coming to you virtually to bring you a Women's History Bite of the Day. Today, on March the 2nd, we're going to kick off our Women's History Bites with learning about somebody who is incredibly important in the fight for civil rights. Wonder who I'm talking about? Drum roll, please. The focus of today's Women's History Bite is civil rights activist Claudette Colvin. Now, maybe you've never heard of Claudette Colvin before. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised because she hasn't received a lot of recognition throughout her life. The name Rosa Parks is probably familiar to you. Let's listen to a quick audio clip giving you a little bit more background information about who Claudette Colvin is and what she accomplished in her early life.
Almost every American child learns that on December 1st, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks refused to move to the back of the bus and give up her seat to a white person. With this act, the Montgomery bus boycott began. Dr. Martin Luther King.
We are not wrong in what we are doing. If we are wrong, the Constitution of the United States is wrong. If we are wrong, God Almighty is wrong.
What some people don't know is that Rosa Parks was not the first woman to refuse to give up her seat. Before her, a number of women refused. Most were taken off the bus and quietly fined. The first woman to really challenge the Montgomery bus segregation law was a 15-year-old teenager named Claudette Colvin. Now,
Claudette was born on September 5th, 1939. That was an audio clip from NPR. If you're interested in listening to the rest of the audio clip, I'll link it in this YouTube video. So as you heard, most people know about Rosa Parks and the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott that began in 1955. We talked about it last month during Black History Month when we spotlighted Rosa Parks. But few people know that there were a number of women who refused to give up their seat on the same bus system. Most of these women were quietly fined, and no one heard much more about them. Claudette Colvin, the woman whose photograph you saw in the last slide, was the first person to really challenge this law. The bus driver ordered her to get up. She refused, saying that she'd paid her fare and it was her constitutional right. Well, two police officers put her in handcuffs and they arrested her. Her school books went flying off her lap. Here's a photograph of her. When this took place in 1955, she was 15 years old. So she stood her ground. She did not give up her seat on the bus because she believed and knew that it was her constitutional right. She paid the money to ride the bus. She was forcibly removed and arrested. Well, this was before Rosa Parks was arrested. The NAACP considered using her case to challenge the segregation system, right? The system that kept the rights of Black people separate and not equal to the rights of white people. But it wasn't proceeded for a number of reasons. Well, Claudette Colvin was tried in juvenile court or youth court and charged with violating the segregation laws. She was charged with disturbing the peace, and she was also charged with assaulting the police officer who arrested her. There's a book that was written about her experience and what she went through in 1955. That's a cover of the book on the right-hand side. It's called Claudette Colvin, Twice Towards Justice. Well, Claudette Colvin is very much still alive today. Here's a picture of her. After this experience, she ended up leaving Montgomery, Alabama, and now she lives in New York. She is 81 years old. Ms. Davis recently heard about Claudette Colvin last month during Black History Month because I saw a clip of her on CNN. I'm going to link a few more videos about her in the comments of this YouTube video if you're interested in learning more yourself. So this brings us to the end of today's Women's History Bite of the Day. Let's finish with a quote from Claudette Colvin. Here's that photograph of her when she was 15. The quote says, I knew then, and I know now, that when it comes to justice, there is no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say, this is not right. And I did. Claudette Colvin. So that brings you to the end of today's Women's History Bite of the day. It was so wonderful being able to share a little bit of Claudette Colvin's life and her experiences with you. I look forward to bringing you another Women's History Bite tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.